Hello, everyone. This is Follow Everton. For those that are not in the know, Corey, along with myself, Chris, or Aussie Chris, as my title, I suppose, has it, are members of Follow Everton. And what I've been doing, throughout this last week, for the final week of the first team's appearances at Goodison in a Premier League capacity, would it's coming up this weekend for Southampton, and basically getting some memories and experiences for those that have grown up and been there. And Corey, being from around Merseyside, has got all sorts of experiences as well. So we're going to ask Corey some questions, and you get to share some of what makes you proud to be an Evertonian, maybe what doesn't, and all that. But what got you into Everton, Corey? Was it like a family thing, or just you didn't like the color red?
Me dad and my dad's side are all Blues. They're all Evertonians. So that's pretty much where it comes from. You take your dad's side, don't you, most of the time? Um, I see my side mostly. They're all red. So I'm like the black, the blue sheep in the family.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, me dad's side. My dad took me to my first game. So yeah, well, I'm an Evertonian. I'm stuck for life.
Yeah. Now, I think I talked to you about this before, but your first game is going to have to have been a blur, right? It was pretty early on for you.
Yeah, well, even more so of a blur. So I took a golf club to the head accidentally when I was about 7, and that's my earliest memory. So I don't know if it's interlinked or not. So I don't remember it, but my first Goodison game was against Newcastle. I think it was like 99 or
Okay.
something like that. But I don't remember too much from it. I think my earliest memory might have been big dunk against United, the 1-0.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit of what's it fits and starts for your memory on this, but like, okay, and I think all of us remember those childhood nostalgia moments, which is what we're digging into. When you were there, like when you think back on those times, what really like was it just dunk and the rage and the raw passion that got you in, that really took you in when you were at Goodison, or what really excited you going to games back then?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, it's just a pure passion. I mean, it's the magic of when you walk up the steps. Usually it was the Gladys Street, occasionally the main stand when I was younger. And when you come up the steps and then you just see that bit of pitch,
Hmm.
just that little bit of grass, and you come on and you start seeing it, and you kind of see it from obviously the view when you're on the terrace is different from when you see it on TV, and you just see it from like up it's kind of like a wide angle lens, and you
Yeah,
just see the whole thing, and it's just magical. I mean, you go to other stadiums and do other stadium tours, and when you do that, it still brings a little bit of it back. You get that little bit of deja vu, but nothing
yeah,
compares to walking out and coming up, seeing the blue stadium, the blue seats everywhere, just that gorgeous green pitch, and it was that was the magic when you're a kid, and as you grow older, I think for me, a lot of it's been the personality of Goodison, of the fans in the ground. Um, Sometimes when you stood there and you're in the stand and you come up with a chant, and the chant's hilarious. The grief, if you're giving grief to some players and stuff like that. I just love the personality around it all, and Goodison Park really does exemplify everything I know of being from Merseyside. The personality of Scousers. I'm from over the water, so Plazzies and Wolves. I think it just exemplifies the personality of the people who go there, and it really does shine through.
yeah. Well, you brought up an interesting point here, which I didn't think I'd ask, but it sounds like you've bounced around, at least on in the main stand and Gladys Street. Is there a favorite section of the pitch that you, or of the stands that you like being in as a, you're not a season ticket holder, but you get to go to games. Which area do you like
Yeah.
attending the most?
Well, it's weird because I've never ever been in the park end, so I've always had some sort of obstructed view.
Are
some
you
sort
just
of
trying to avoid Ryan? Like, is that the goal?
um, no, it's just, you know what? It's for some reason I've just never ended up in the park stand. It's the lower
Yeah.
Gladys for me. I said I've been lower Bullens, upper Bullens, lower upper Gladys, main stand. Um, but it's the lower Gladys. That's where you get the most of your shouts from, and just being behind the goal when you see a goal go in, it's absolutely magical.
Yeah.
So
And I can imagine maybe you were 7 or 8, or whenever your memories of that first Gladys Street where you're walking up, and you could go to the very top of the upper Gladys and not see the pitch when you're that size. So you get to see it from a really different angle. Basically get to peek through, ask Dad to lift you up, ask for a booster seat that they don't have, and you're just listening and kind of feeling the crowd more than you are seeing the pitch, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, I'm not much taller these days, so it's the same rule applies.
Made 5'7", Corey. We did it.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to see the game against Leicester, I was with Jan in the lower Bullens, and between me being small, the obstructed view, and the fact that I now need glasses, a couple of times I was like, "Who's just scored that? Has that actually gone in?" In the first 10 minutes when we scored them 3 goals or whatever. So, yeah.
As long as you're not getting like Beto and like Coleman mixed up, I think you're okay.
Yeah, no,
then you know you're in trouble.
It's not that bad. It was more when the Corey was running through for that first one. I was like, I can't actually see what's going on, and then you can just kind of see the ball nestle in the net, and then obviously the jubilation, everyone goes wild. I was probably a bit of shock that we've actually scored that early in the game as well. So, but yeah, between my eyesight, my height, and everything, I was struggling to see what was going on until Goodison roared.
Yeah. So, and one of the normal questions I like to ask, but I think you've kind of covered it, so I'll do a bit of a twist on it. So when you talked about the crowd and the sort of fun, interactive nature of it, so you've talked about the chants as well. Is there a chant that the kids at home can hear you reference? But what's your favorite chant you've heard from the Gladys Street over the years? That you can think of?
Trying to, you know what? I mean, Banks of the Royal Blue Maze is always the one that probably gets me going. Oh, it's a classic one. But it's more like just some of the individual stuff. Like you'll just hear some fella in the ground just scream at someone. You know what I mean? You know, like the famous video of like you couldn't referee a game of Tiddlywinks. That fella. But like just like I've watched a couple of times like Andre Ayew just getting absolutely terrorized and stuff like that. Yeah. What was it? Was it us against Reading? Late 2000s. I can't remember what year it was. And the linesman was just getting all sorts of abuse, and it was beautiful. Like it wasn't personal, but it was. I just really, really enjoyed it. It felt like home.
The one that I remember, and again, it's hot. You kind of hear, you almost have to hear it from like Reddit forums on what gets said on the day. But the one about like Mr. Plow from The Simpsons and Dwight McNeil, I thought was quite funny.
Yeah.
What's his name? It's Dwight McNeil. Like the fact that people can come up with this stuff. I mean, the Beto stuff is pretty easy. Like Adi Adi Beto or Oh Nana, what's your name, and those kind of ones. But when something that's less musical and just completely impromptu is just hilarious when you have someone that's a bit gritty or it's just completely from left field and you're like, how did someone come up with it? But I think that's part of the charm of having such it's raucous, but it's a family friendly atmosphere at Goodison. And Derek, who is Adam's dad, was talking about how he's so proud that it's a family affair now, but you still have that edge in certain parts of the pit or the stadium.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, I think that's how I feel it exemplifies Merseyside Scousers, the working class area in general. In that, like a lot, I mean, it can spill over. Let's be honest, but again, I still like that passion where there's the kind of aggression and anger there at times. Obviously, we all know that when Neville took out Cristiano Ronaldo against United 07, it just went off from there. And when Goodison lifts up and you feel that, like that anger and that boil, like again, it just really, really gets you going. But also the more camaraderie side, like you said, it just shows the wittiness and the humour of Scousers essentially, because someone will just come up with a funny chant, which is really smart, or even just like I said, just a shout at someone. Like I said, I'm always giving grief to Andre Ayew. I'm sure a lot of Evertonians absolutely despise him, and every time I go to see him live, I make a point of giving him abuse. Yeah, but just seeing like just how creative fans can be in terms of the camaraderie, giving grief and things like that. That is the best part. Like some of the most funniest things I've ever heard have come while being stood in the terraces and stuff like that. I remember once I was in the Lower Gladys, to the right of the goal, and everyone's standing up. Obviously, please can you sit down? No one ever sits down in the Gladys Street.
Nice,
and every time a steward was coming over, everyone was sitting down, and then as soon as he'd walk away, everyone would just stand up. So by that point, it's like a game of cat and mouse with the steward, and the steward knows what's going on. And it's just little things like that obviously you love the match and stuff, but it's that whole that community and stuff like that. They're the parts that you take away from Goodison, especially obviously for season ticket holders who go all the time, and they've got obviously their friends that they see. They've been stood next to them for 10, 20 years sometimes. So, and that's what people, not myself obviously, but that's what a lot of people are probably going to miss, because you build them relationships, and it's just that part that really has the game. Sometimes that's better than the match itself at times, probably especially with the recent history, how poor we've been.
Yeah, and I mean that's something unique for us, and I think Stevie and Jan have done a couple shows recently and kind of dug into some of the emotions there. But if you're a regular season ticket holder, I'm sure it's gonna almost feel like moving home after it's a multi-generational house, and you have to move, and you don't know who your neighbors are gonna be, and that was part of it. But there's some positives with anything new. You just have to embrace the fact that the old was great. So another thought or question for you. So you've talked about some of the early games, like against Newcastle and Man United, and Duncan Ferguson, and because you've gone throughout the years and as you've gotten older, which other games other than those early couple you referenced, which games have really stood out to you when you've gotten to either just watching on TV or getting to go to the match? What's really stood out to you, like any particular games?
I mean, one I'll say that really stood out to me. So under Benitez, it sounds terrible. When we beat Burnley, was it 3-1, 4-1? Andros Townsend scored a brilliant goal. He scored the last one, the screaming from the middle of the pitch. So I used to work at a car place, and a fella gave me a ticket, season tickets holder in the Upper Gladys.
Yeah.
Burgess, if you're listening, mate, this is to you. And he said, look, I'm away for the week. I'm going to miss the game. Take me ticket, you go. And I was going through like a really, really rough patch, but probably not the best of times. Not been to a game for a while, etc., etc. And he gave me his tickets. I went, sat in a seat, didn't know anyone. By that point, you're making mates with people. And just being able to just stand there right at the front, the Upper Gladys, just getting to watch Everton for the first time in probably like 6-7 months at that point. And it just makes you feel a lot better. Like I literally took my car, went home, came back over the water, parked it up, just all by myself, and I've done the one-man thing in my car, watched the match, and then I come out of it, and I just feel like you just feel so much better in yourself. It was so good for my mental health. And I know as Evertonians, we don't usually say that about Everton. It's usually the other way around. But just being in probably not the best of places, getting to go to that match and just getting to experience it, especially with a win, it just really, really helped me mental health, made me feel so much better. So yeah, something like that was fantastic. Do you want my most favorite Goodison experience?
Sure, if you're willing to.
So this one isn't a particularly probably well reminisced game. But we played Fulham. I think it was the FA Cup. I think the 11-12 season. Strachan was there, so he would have been 11-12. And we know how much of a cult hero he was. He wasn't the greatest, but he absolutely ran his socks off. So I loved him at that point purely for the graft he put in. Definition of a cult hero, especially in relation to his ability. So I'm sat at the front, like about 5-6 rows back, lower Gladys, left hand side, left of the goal between there and the corner flag. And I've took me young cousin, I'm 16, around that age. He's around about 12, and I've took him to the match too.
So basically, that photo with you and Changi, that kind of time?
It was that season, but I think that photo was taken. I think that photo was taken in the Bullens or the main stand, but this was in the Gladys Street. So I think that was earlier in the season, and this was, I think it was an FA Cup, so it would have been around about January time. So we stood there. Fulham get a penalty. Howard Webb was the referee, and Danny Murphy was playing at the time. Anyway, someone scores it, and I'm fuming. I'm calling Howard Webb a baldy bastard. I swear. Can you beat this out?
I'm not sure I'm very good at editing, but anyway, you were incredibly frustrated with Howard Webb before he became PGMOL man.
Yes, I called up a baldy so-and-so, and then the fella next to me was bald, and he's fuming, and he goes, "What do you just call him?" And I called him a baldy. I called him bald because
it wasn't because he's bald; he just happened to be bald.
Yeah, well, that's it. I said, "Look, I've not got a thing against bald people. He just so happens to be bald, and that's what I'm going to give him grief about." And he's like, "I'm bald. Blah, blah. Do you know the Oak? I'll meet you in the Oak afterwards, me and you." And I'm like, "What you on about?" So I start giving this fella a bit of grief, but all frustrated. We gone 1-0 down. Our kid's next to me. He goes, "Oh, Corey, can't be doing this, lad. We're gonna get battered." It's all right. He'll fill you. He'll fill me, and not you. You're only 12. If not, I'll hide behind you. So obviously, it's not got off to the best of start. And then
Yeah.
I think, Stracqualese equalisers down the other end of the pitch. 1-1. We're all cheering. This fella's cheering next to me. I'm like, oh, here we go. Second half, Everton is shooting towards the Glad Street where we are. Anyway, did Landon Donovan pick up? No. Someone picked out Fellaini. Fellaini scores, and the whole crowd goes absolutely mental. This fella who less than an hour ago was threatening me, wanted to scrap with me in the Oak afterwards. He's got his arms around me, celebrating. He's lifting me up, got me in a headlock.
He
and
wasn't giving you a headlock, was he?
well, that's what I thought. Like, oh, he's got me in a headlock. Is he going to try and like do me in or something?
They wasn't worried about the hug.
But we were just going absolutely mental. And then by that point, he's got his arms around me. We're singing, and I was like, "There's no sorry needed, anything like that. It's purely the frustration of losing and that kind of anger of going down, that passion. So at the end of it, just be me mating and like just enjoying it together. And I think like I tell that story to everyone because I just think for me it encompasses everything that Everton are. Like I said, it was a fairly innocuous game. It was nothing mega, apart from the Stracqualese goal, which again everyone went absolutely mental for. It was brilliant just for him to score a goal, similar to how everyone felt for Beto at first. And like I said, it just exemplifies everything that I think of Everton. That kind of frustration, that realness. It's not a massive tourist fan trap where everything's all diluted. It can be quiet at times, but you really see the rawness and the realness of people, especially people in this area. Really shine through, and that for me is probably my favorite Goodison memory, specifically for that. Even though it's not a pretty well known or it's a pretty innocuous game.
Yeah, I mean, you've touched on I think at this point twice actually, which is really nice to hear. But life can be tough for a lot of people. Football, depending on how you view it, can either be it can paralyze you and stress you out at work and life, whatever. But at times when you're there, it's captivating and the match is all that matters. And it's this escape from everything else going on. So it has that magic to change to the person next to you who didn't like your opinion of hairstyles, let's put it can change on a dime. You can have a rough week, and Goodison and football in general can just change your outlook. And then you said it was your cousin with you, and you get to repeat that cycle of magic with them. So I think it's great that you had that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And then his younger sister, so a big age gap between the two, but his younger sister, so pre-season, this season, pre-season, the Roma game, wasn't it? Yeah, we took her to watch her first game. So it's just, although it's not a different generation, but well, this is how people will feel about it. They will get to go and they will get taken. For me, who, like I said, it's one side of my family is Everton, one side is predominantly Liverpool, and that's a side that I see more than the other side. So for me, who grew up mainly with Reds, I got my head filled in when we beat them 3-0 in the derby. Andy Johnson scored.
Yeah, that was a semi-hippie own goal moment.
So I got my head filled in there because I was watching it at my grandmother's house. The house was full of Reds, and every goal I cheered, they were getting closer and closer to batting me. And by that point, me uncles pretty much filled me in for the 3-0 after me giving them enough grief. So for me, obviously, you don't get to experience it too much growing up, but now I'm older and I'm able to go. I've got friends who we say we're going to go to, obviously getting to go with Jan and things like that. So it's magical for me and getting to take more and more people. And what I'm most excited for, although it won't be Goodison, is when I've got my own little ones, is being able to take them to games, getting them their Everton kits, and getting them to kind of experience that love, that joy, and the downfalls as well.
Yeah. So I guess the next question, because you're talking on a lot of the family element, and the normal question I like to ask was, what makes Goodison unique and special to you? And I know you've talked about the kind of communal element, the surprise of the neighbor next to you, and what they can generate. And takes you aback at being able to connect with people like that. But is there anything about the stadium, let's say sirens, Goodison exercise, and some of the quirkiness, or you have Changi the mascot and this kind of stuff that hits on your memories that you want to see taken from Goodison and brought to Bramley Moor?
I mean, the sirens is a fairly new thing, and I think it's been massive. It really does help the crowd get going. Yeah. I do think that if we can mix the modern and the classic, obviously we've not seen the stadium the new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, the HD Stadium. So we've not seen that really dressed up yet, but I'd like that to still have that bit of classic. So it really does feel traditional. Obviously, Goodison Park is such a historically relevant stadium as well. It was the place of so many firsts. So I think if we can bring some of that with us, so just embracing the tradition, but also looking forward, I think that'll be quite important. Blue nets as well. I know it sounds silly because it's just a little aesthetic, but just then blue nets either side, it just makes a difference from being the white ones. And again, when you go in and you see the blue nets, it just adds that little bit extra, and you go, this is Everton, this is Goodison, this is us. And the last thing, because this is what generates that atmosphere, and I do think Dan Meese has done well at recreating this, is how tight it is. Because when someone takes a throw in or anything like that, you are so close. You've not got a big, massive running track or anything like that. The fans are so close. And obviously, we don't want the fans jumping on the pitch and interacting for the players' safety, but kind of having that interaction, especially for the home players and the home crowd, I think that creates so much of it. And when the fans are so on top of you, there isn't somewhere to hide, and it really does generate that. And I think we need to be able to give the HD Stadium its own identity, but we need to kind of get that to shine through, and getting the Everton fans really close, really on board, getting it really personal is going to be the best way to do that.
Yeah, so that raw nature of being, there's nowhere to hide when the fans can tell you what they think of you and taking a corner kick after shanking a ball a minute ago. So there's something to that for sure. I think back to some of those Goodison moments with Suarez and the corner flag, and realizing how close you really get to the fans, and the touchline as well. They have that little mud strip to try and stop people from falling into the crowd, but I imagine it'll be a little bit wider at Hill Dickinson Stadium, but not too much more. I guess that the next thing I had for you, Corey. So we know that the stadium. This isn't the end of the stadium, but it's for us from a first team emotional standpoint, this is the last match. There's a lot of things that we know already. We imagine that we have coach welcomes, we have the ceremony afterwards, but what do you kind of feel that you need to see or want to see on the final day to feel that it's like the send off you want to see?
A win, goals. I think an attacking performance. I think it should be a part. So obviously I'd done the preview yesterday with Stevie, and I just think it should be things like the players should be focused on the game. Yeah, don't rise to the occasion too much, but I want the players to be able to drink it in. I want obviously Seamus Coleman to get on the pitch, probably come on in the second half, probably in my mind would be the best bet. But even if he leads the team out, that'd be fine. I just want everyone
to go to hamstring onto the pitch and just, here it is, here's my leg.
Yeah, bury it there under the ground ceremonially. Just anything like that. Just like I said, I want the fans to be able to enjoy themselves. I want to see everyone happy, enjoy it. It's going to be emotional for some, but it's like, I don't want to be morbid, but when you go to a funeral and at first it's really, really sad, you have the ceremony or whatever it is, and then you get to the I don't know what's like in Australia. I'm assuming with your culture of drinking like ours, you get to the party afterwards, the wake up, whatever you want to call it. And to be honest, mate, they're usually better than weddings. Like everyone's getting absolutely bladdered. Everyone's really enjoying it. You're telling stories. So once you've kind of got over that bit of grief, it kind of helps. And I hope everyone's just really in a party, happy go lucky atmosphere. I'm sure it'll be weird when they first go in, maybe at the full time whistle. But then once the festivities start, I hope people just really, really get to enjoy it, or kick-off happens, the first big crunching tackle goes in or something like that. And the fans need to the players need to play their part in that. David Moyes does in terms of playing positively, which gets the fans on board, because we can't be boring everyone on the last game. We need to go for it while also enjoy it by being responsible, as Neil Warnock said.
What I think would be so cool, and I imagine this is completely a pipe dream or thought of mine. Imagine if James Tarkovsky or Seamus Coleman or David Moyes could actually sing, and after the match they're actually on the stadium, joining a cover band or something, or joining and actually being part of the event. And you're like, where did that come from? You've been hiding in the forest for a decade. That would be kind of fun.
No, because I reckon Charlie Alcaraz can sing.
Yeah, he would sound really good in Spanish. We have no idea if he's singing raunchy pitbull stuff or talking about how much he respects his mother. You just don't know.
And that's it. So I don't think we're going to get an Andrea Bocelli moment, are we? You know what I mean?
I
But
mean, we don't want to say time to say goodbye. We want to say time for the ladies to take over Goodison.
yeah.
Doesn't have the same ring for it.
So all depends on who they get. I mean, look, if they were to get what's the rumors or people putting 2 and 2 together for Paul
The
McCartney,
Beatles are back alive and
that'd be
back together.
that'd be absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? That'd be unreal. So I just hope that, obviously, for us who are unfortunate enough to be able to be there, I hope Everton show it. I said again yesterday on the preview that it'd be a massive, massive, massive missed opportunity if we don't show it on YouTube, because you're going to get every single Evertonian who can't be there is going to want to watch it. So they'll be on YouTube watching it 100%. And then not every single, but so many fans from all over the world and in the country know this is the last thing. And how often is there a post game party, a post game gig going on? So I think everyone will want to be able to watch that, and it'll pull numbers in. So it'll be good for Everton brand recognition, just getting the Everton label out there kind of thing. And it's just a chance of pretty much free marketing, isn't it? Obviously, we're doing it for us to be able to enjoy it, but it's free marketing for Everton to kind of put themselves on an even bigger stage and stuff like that. Going into the new grounds, people go, "This is amazing. This experience is amazing. They've got a new ground that looks amazing. Let's go there."
Yeah.
I'm an Everton.
Truly is the Everton showcase. But
Yeah.
for an Everton showcase, we better be up 2-0 with a little bit of sunshine, so people aren't getting nervous that Southampton pull the triple on us.
Oh, do you know what? Right, so I said my
I shouldn't be laughing. It's mostly fear.
yeah, it is. It's my prediction's 4-0 because I just feel like someone's gonna click, but also the Evertonian maybe just feels like it's that kind of game where we'll go and they'll struggle, it'll be a 0-0 or a 1-0 to Southampton, and they'll do the triple, and then we'll go and beat Newcastle next week. Like it's just the way it would work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
nothing like being on schedule here at Everton.
Yeah, exactly.
Even for our emotions.
It's on brand for us. So, yeah. And if in terms of a nice day, I mean, the forecast is meant to be a little bit cloudy, but nice. It was meant to be cloudy today, but it is absolutely cracking flags outside. So, hopefully it carries on this nice weather through till tomorrow for the party atmosphere.
Yeah. So I'll work with you on when we want to release this in a bit, Corey. But until then, I think you and I will be. Maybe we'll go an hour before. I've got work commitments, but basically, we'll be doing the build up for the final match because we don't have season tickets. Granted, it'd be strange if I had a season ticket. It'd be a long flight for me, but we'll be here with you for pre-match tomorrow. And until then, everyone, thank you and up the toffees.
Up the toffees.